Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to American Falls by Lancyboi. The pipes are what are I don't know the lyrics. The pipes are calling, are playing, are obnoxious. You know, happy Tuesday, by the way. My apologies for not getting that out of the way first, but aren't bagpipes, no offense, but aren't they one of the most obnoxious sounding instruments of all time? I get the history, and boy, I know that's a horrible thing to probably say for... See, I'm horrible with this. I think they're Scottish, aren't they? They're Scottish, right? They're not Irish. I think they're Scottish. I think of bagpipes. I think of they're kilts, right? Is that what they're called? And I'm gonna be straight up honest with you all. And I know that we're just getting into this episode, so it's pretty early on, and you probably don't need to hear this. I would adorn a kilt. I would wear one every day. I think they would be amazing. I really do. I think they would just let what nature intended to breathe, you know? I've always been jealous of women with their abilities to wear dresses and skirts. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to be throwing on, women's clothing anytime soon. You probably wouldn't know it anyways because I'm behind a microphone. But, that being said, I am definitely not too proud to say I would throw on the old Scottish men's skirt in a heartbeat. First of all, I think they look pretty cool. I think they look pretty bad to the bone. Some of them, like I was watching a an old Gordon Ramsay Hell's Kitchen, or Kitchen Nightmares, I think is what it's called, the British version. And he had all of the kitchen staff put on these, I'm going to say they're kilts, right? I hope I'm not saying that wrong. And some of them look pretty sweet. Oh, what are we... what's going on here, folks? I'm running over... Oh, what is that? What the... Oh, so this brings, as a moment of interruptus, this does bring on the collectibles conversation we need to have. When we find collectibles like this one, we need to retrieve them. However, the $1,000 that gives us, I'm not feeling good about collectible cash in this one. So we are going to go in and remove $1,000. So don't let it ever be said that Brad is taking the easy route. There's no collectible hunt for easy cash on American Falls, my friends. That is not going to happen. I guaranteed hard mode. I guaranteed struggle. I guaranteed my nightmare. That's what you're gonna get. No easy money here on American Falls. Oh, so I got to work on this field prior to the episode. I wanted to get a head start on getting this one cultivating job done. I figure you guys probably already have seen and certainly will see plenty of cultivating, at least up front. this is just the nature of the beast. We are contractors because that's how we're going to get our money. That's how we're going to gain some confidence from the town folk. They weren't too thrilled about my harvesting issue. They understood it. Unfortunately, because of the failure, I kind of laugh, but it's it is what it is. But due to my failure in getting this field and that field harvested, well, we're cultivating up the canola that got withered and lost. And I'm going to assume, in fact, I'd say it's a fair assumption, that this is a fair amount of money that just got withered away because I couldn't complete the harvest jobs. Now, granted, we were under a time constraint, so it's understandable why I didn't fail. I didn't fail due to laziness or incompetence. Well, I didn't fail to laziness because of laziness. Incompetence is always Incompetence is always a little bit of a measuring stone here on the RQS Gaming channel. But laziness, my friends, that you will not find. Generally speaking. That you will not find. So, we're going to get these contracts, these cultivating contracts done. These little islands, these ditches, they're not even ditches. These gizmos here, I honestly cannot wait until we can buy. In fact, I kind of want this to be our first field so we can just plow those stinking things up. But then I got to thinking, I got a comment from somebody saying that they had some difficulties with plowing these little islands up here. So I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not. We're going to give it our best shot when we finally get to that point. The only other thing I'm wondering about, they're not ditches, so I don't know if it will. This game has flooding, and I have the mud mod enabled, so I don't know what impacts plowing these little islands. I don't even know what you call them. There's probably a technical term for these things, right? But I don't know what impact plowing these things is going to be if we can indeed plow them. Oh, I like the old T9. Is that what this is? It's a T9, right? I like hearing it having to grunt its way up that hill a little bit. That's kind of nice. So I don't know what impact that will have on the field, but they can't stay. They just can't stay. I would assume in real life, I'm trying to think of a real life scenario. Oh, it likes going downhill, doesn't it? I'm trying to think of a real life scenario why those would be there. And the only thing I can think of is I've seen on some farming channels, some real farming channels, where they have areas of the field that, but I think they're usually areas where they easily get flooded, or there's something about a particular area of a field that just either they just have a hard time getting anything to grow for some reason or something like that. But I can't think of any logical reason why those things would be there in the field, why a farmer would leave those little gizmos there in a field. I just don't know. I don't really get it. So yeah, going back to the skirt wearing, I just feel like they would be exceptionally refreshing in the summertime. Wintertime might be a different story, but in the summertime, oh my goodness. That would be amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh yeah, I like hearing the old T9. Have to put in a little effort here. We should be wrapped up on this thing, I bet. Let's take a quick peek ski. Oh yeah, she's done. She's done. Wrap that one up for the books. Excelente. At least that's another contract we can not fail on. So what has been going on with you all this week so far? We're early in the week. For me, it's been kind of status quo. Temperatures in my neck of the woods have been, I would say, unseasonably high. I don't think we're going to fit through this, are we? It's not looking very promising. But yeah, temperatures have been unseasonably high for this time of the year. I'll take that. Absolutely. Let's get you unfolded back again. We're going to attack this field with fervor. Let's see here. Where are we? Here we are. Field 45. A little more straightforward. It looks like it might be a little bigger. But it's definitely a little more straightforward. No little islands. Those islands don't really matter much, though. I just kind of go right through them. Unless we run into a collectible that stumps us a little bit. I checked out the mods for today and noticed there's only one update for Iowa Plains Falls. Looks like they had a little bit of a problem with the juice factory loading. That's been fixed. Other than that, it's kind of a no mod, what would you call it? A no mod Monday. Of course, you're watching this Tuesday, but or maybe not, maybe later. But I'm referring to Mondays. Maybe that's what they should call it, a no mod Monday. But boy, did they have a lot of mods. Was it last Thursday or Friday? It's like we just got dumped on with mods. Yeah, actually, I think this field might be a little bigger than the one we just tackled. Maybe close, but I think it might be a tad, a smidge bigger. So the plan, at least right now as it stands, I don't know why I ever really make plans on Farming Simulator, especially on my Let's Plays, because they rarely come to fruition. Yes, I said fruition. Fruition. No, I can't say it. To fruition. But at this point, get out of the way, bird. Man, that bird just literally dove underneath the cultivator. Evidently, it wanted out. It wanted to move on to another plane of existence. I haven't seen deer in a while. Is that a problem? I haven't seen any around lately. Seems like I was seeing them a lot when I was testing the map, but now I haven't really seen many. Hope I didn't run them all over. But the plan right now is to get this third cultivating job in the books, wrapped up and in the books. So, uh-oh. Dang, is that... Wow. Come on, get some. That actually is a pretty steep hill right there. Wow. That's impressive. I tell you what, that set the old T9 back, didn't it? But yeah, the plan is to get these 3 knocked out, collect our cash, and get out of town. No, actually, we're not going to do that. I'm going to hit this fence. I really don't want to hit the fence. Mostly because... Oh, Brad, you've got yourself into a predicament. Mostly because I don't want to pay for repairs. We're just going to do a full turnsy here. And scooch this around a bit. And that should be enough. But I want to take the money that we collect, which should be about... Oh, I don't know. What are we talking? Each one of these were about $6,000, roughly. We could look, I guess, but I don't want to defocus along this fence line. But yeah, take the money and probably do either a sewing job or a fertilizing job, since we can afford paying for the products needed. It's nice that we've got the old International. Hopefully that doesn't break down on us anytime soon. But I do believe I set gas up to work to be... I think I set gas to be used at the highest rate. And even with that, I've noticed with Farming Simulator, gas lasts a long time in this game. So I'm not too worried about having to fill up the gas tank a whole very often, but it is another expense to consider. But I'm glad we've got the old International, because we're probably going to have to be carting around fertilizer and seed. And it's nice to have... Whoops. That's not something we can see for a while. And it's nice to have something that... a truck like that we can do that with, so we're not running back and forth to the store with our tractors. This is a very satisfying cultivating job. I actually really kind of like these cultivating jobs. Just plowing up, or cultivating up, I guess you would say, all of this canola. My apologies to the town folk for seeing basically three, was it? I can't even remember our first cultivating job. What did we cultivate on the first job? Was it the same? But yeah. They understood. They were forgiving to some degree. They knew that I arrived into town late. They knew that time was a bit not on our side. I appreciate, by the way, the kind comments about having that you would have allowed me to slow time down or not take the penalties for the contracts, and I do appreciate that. At least, you're not 100% into seeing my life become a list of pain and misery. But we're going to take what the game gives us, to an extent. I mean, if something horribly breaks and we have to make some adjustments, there's that. But as long as the game doesn't treat us unfairly, we're going to stick to the game plan. And I'm actually starting to... I don't know if enjoy is the word, but I'm starting to appreciate, let's say, having to work a little harder for the money. Let's face it, if you watched, if you watched Tranquil Waters, which I certainly hope you did, I think we can all agree that money came quite easily on that map. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. There's no point in denying it. Money came very easily. Now, granted, we did a lot of work on that map, but becoming multi-millionaire from Compost was a pretty easy gig, right? But those days are over. So are the days of 15-mile-an-hour cultivating and 15-mile-an-hour harvesting. That's okay too, though. I actually don't normally play that way, at least. I started getting to enjoy it, though. It's easy to how quickly we fall into the lure of fast farming or making things just that much easier. And I totally get that. Everybody plays different. Nothing wrong with it. If you want to harvest at 60 miles an hour, harvest at 60 miles an hour. You know? It's all you. Looks like we're going to have plenty of daylight to finish these. And really, I'm just worried about getting these 3 contracts done. If we still have some time left, we can go ahead and kick off whatever's next. I'm going to try to avoid working into the evenings. I'm not a big nighttime working fan. So if it comes down to it and it's going to get dark soon, we're not going to do a lot of work in the dark. However, I was impressed with the lighting mod, or actually the 2 mods that I enabled to kind of generate some more light at night. I think one of them was extended lights or something like that, and then the other one was something to do with brights. I forget what it was, but and you can tell, you know, they're pretty bright, but they also wreak a bit of havoc on your frame rate. So if you are thinking about using them, they'll drop a few FPS on you. So just be aware of that. You will no doubt experience usually a little bit of a frame rate drop from them. I get very good frame rates so far on this map. In general, especially out here on the fields, I'm sitting in the higher 150s, 60, but you know, of course that's taking it easy out here versus being in town or something like that. I've played back and forth with a variable frame rate, non-variable frame rates, and locking in a frame rate. There's different schools of thought on that, you know. If you lock in a frame rate, some people say that you're going to get smoother gameplay because you're not jumping around, which they both make sense to me, both arguments. A locked-in frame rate, like we can't do that right now because I have it set so high, but I mean, we could lock our frame rate in at 60 and pretty much maintain that with ease, right? And some people will argue that that is the way to do it. Some other people say get the highest frame rate you can all the time. So I don't know. I haven't done probably enough testing, and I probably don't play enough variety of games to really have a good solid opinion on that. We're going to see if we can maybe straighten this out a smidge. But I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. It's funny. You can go out into Google and the internet's Reddit is very dangerous with this stuff too, and like they say, you know, opinions are like excuse me, opinions are like, you know, holes. Everybody's got one, right? And that's pretty much what what it's like out there. Excuse me as I quickly grab an adult water beverage. But yeah, everybody's got an opinion. And most of them are uneducated. Mine included. I don't feel like I am extremely educated in the topic of frame rates and gaming and all the nuances that go into how hardware generates polygons and all this stuff. I'm just not that into it. That's not my field of expertise, and you know, most of my opinions are going to be based from just personal experience. But how quickly people forget that there are millions of PC configurations out there. Millions. Anything from minor differences to significant differences. And when people start getting into you know, you have to do this, you have to do that. I mean, it's what hardware specs, what version of Windows, what monitor you have, what cooling. I mean, there's so many variables. Those are all thrown out the window, and everybody thinks they've got the cure, right? One of my favorite things that I hear a lot at work, I probably hear it daily, and I understand why people say it. So it's not me being negative about it, but I hear it all the time, and it's this: I don't understand why it's not working. It was working fine yesterday. Well, yeah. I just try to explain to them, look, computers are like cars, all right? They could be working fine one day, and the next day they may be sitting on the side of the road dead. It is just what it is. Thankfully, computers over the years have gotten better. They're not quite as mechanical as they used to be, you know, with hard drives in particular. Boy, the days of spindle drives, I do not miss. Mechanical drives were, you know, they're what we had to work with, but boy, what a nightmare they were. Failure at any time. Yeah, they were just a nightmare. Slow, loud, hot. Another one I get a lot is when somebody gets a new computer and they'll say, well, this worked on my old one, but it's not working on my new one. And I get that. I get the frustrations there, but again, many different variables, many different variables. And oftentimes, at least in my kind of a setting, or when you're in a corporate setting, Some things that worked maybe should not have been working. Oh, come on, baby, go get some. Get some. We have a very tightly controlled data protection policy, or policies, plural. I have never worked in an office where where data is as tightly controlled as it is where I work. And understandably so, I totally get it. When you're dealing with commercial flight, military flight, basically avionics, aerospace, that kind of thing, you don't want to be too free willy with information. And but that can be very frustrating for people, and I totally get that. And it's not getting any better. It's only going to get worse as far as the impact on us, the people that use machines. Security is such a big deal, and don't get complacent about it. I know I'm not going to get into the speech again. We've been down that road about being safe, but don't get complacent. I had an email sent to me a couple days ago. It was the best by far. It was the best fake PayPal email I've ever seen and ever received. I mean, it was perfecto. It was as good as it gets, and that I've seen at least. There were no obvious things like bad grammar. I love the ones that have bad grammar. They're my favorite, you know. Your bank no have balance info. Please post haste send info to bank. I love that kind of stuff, you know. But this one was deadpan perfect. Deadpan perfect. It, from the logos to the writing, the grammar, the font. In fact, it even went as far as to not be obvious by having like, click this link to log in, you know, this kind of stuff. I mean, they were even smart enough to not include things like that are red flags, right? It was extremely impressive, and the only thing that tipped me off straight away was the content of it was, you know, your PayPal debit card has expired and this transaction was declined. Well, one, I knew my card hadn't expired, but that still made me a little nervous because odd things can happen. Two, it was a transaction I didn't recognize, but that also made me a little nervous because I've had twice. I went through a stretch a while ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, where I was having some serious issues with my PayPal account getting used at gas stations and stuff. It was, I don't know. I mean, I told PayPal, they were like, you know, you want to get this taken care of, we're going to have to cancel your card eventually because this is just, you know, really becoming an issue. And I'm like, do it. I don't care. Do it. 100%. I don't want your stinking credit card if people are going to be using it. That's not my fault. I don't know where the information got leaked or what, but it was becoming pretty nasty. Fortunately, PayPal was on it and took care of it, but It was just a bad stretch. But anyways, come on now. It just pops up just to let me know that I can't use it. It's one of those things where it just caught me, and it caught my attention enough to where I became very cautious over it. I love it. Love it. Come on, baby. Downshift if you have to. So I basically went into protection mode and started looking at what links were provided, and obviously that quickly became apparent that they were not legit PayPal links that were given. But by far the best phishing email I've seen, in a long time. They send these things out at work, to kind of keep you on your toes and test you. But they're so blatantly obvious that I really don't know how much good they really do. They're so obvious that I wonder, do people really fall for this kind of stuff? But I guess they do. And I don't blame people. It's the dipwads that that try to rip people off that make me mad. Prey on the elderly. It's just no excuse for it. Stinking scumbags. You all know how I feel about that. We went down that avenue a couple times on this channel. All right, I bet you this might actually be done. We're not gonna quit until the job is done. Oh, the job is done. We're gonna wrap this bad boy up the right way though. Yeah, buddy, that's what I'm talking about. Good job, T9. That is a heck of a cultivator. I do like that cultivator. I don't even know what the... Hello. Oh, there's our little truck. Wait a minute, did I? Owned items. I was going to say, where's our truck? Leased. Oh, it doesn't list borrowed for contracts, does it? Well, that's kind of silly. The Coon, 7.5 meter. The Vaterstad. The Vaterstad. I guess that's what we're using. Is that what we're using? The Vaterstad? That makes sense, right? It's not the Horsey. It's got to be that. Yeah, that's worked out well for us. How much is that bad Mamba Jamba? 125,000. It's good little cultivator right there. I'm happy with that. All right, folks. Well, we've got our contracts that we wanted to complete done. Let's hit the old refresh button a couple, 2-3 times. I don't want to get too careless with this. Let's save the game because, honestly, I've had some interesting experiences when refreshing contracts that I would like to avoid in the future. So we've got sowing, we've got spraying, we've got harvesting, and we've got, oh man, we've got a lot of fertilizing jobs. Holy smokers. I'm going to assume these are all going to be available tomorrow in the game because we're playing two-day seasons. But since I've never played multiple day seasons, I'm tempted to go ahead and accept at least one of these good ones. So we have a little bit more of a guarantee. That's right, guarantee. In fact, should we just go for the big dog? Field 42 sewing contract. Oh, isn't that the versatile? Is that what that is? Let's see what it says here. So we're gonna sow oilseed radish. Ooh, reward is reduced by 4,300 smackaroonies. So that actually becomes an $18,000 contract, less the cost of seed. Which kind of makes you then take a quick peek ski around, like this $18,000 contract here for fertilizing. Oh, that's about the same amount of money, $4,600. That would be a much faster job. I don't know financially at the end of it, seed cost versus fertilizer cost. No, thank you. I do not want to be running around buying slurry, but thanks for the offer. No, we don't want to even touch that right now. I'm kind of thinking we should... See, I don't want to accept willy-nilly because, again, penalties. That's a $2,200 penalty if we don't finish that contract. I am more tempted to lock this one in. And... yeah, let's lock this one. Yeah, let's lock this one in. We'll see how it goes. So let's borrow items. Let me make sure though that I don't want to be cheaty. Let me get rid of our store deliveries. I don't think I had it set up. I should probably remove that to be on the safe side. Anyways, let's go ahead and borrow these items for that. And let's hold it at that for now. What field is that? That is field 49er. Yeah, these fields are all over the place. But I think I understand why, because if you look at it this way, by land plot, they're a lot more in order, 56, 57, 58, 59. But when you go back, they're kind of all over the place. I have no idea where field 49 is going to be. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. Not too far from where we are. All right, folks. Let's grab our money. We can get rid of the old dealios. Completed, and completed. Nice to have darn near 18,000 smackaroonies in the bank. That makes Brad happy. We are going to be dealing with field 49er. Looks like sugar beets. Needs some fertilizing. This is a decent sized field. I'm going to grab the field calculator mod. That is one luxury that I'm going to approve of. That way we can estimate our fertilizer much better. Because I have no concept as to how much fertilizer this will take. And since we're not using precision farming, not that that matters a great deal, it would be nice to have a much more accurate idea of how much fertilizer this bad boy is going to take. This is a big field. And that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Oh, there she is. You know what? Let's get a little bit of a running start. Y'all don't mind if I go a little bit into overtime? Let's go ahead and get this puppy. Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, how much fertilizer does this thing hold? Spreaders. Spreader. It holds 10,000 liters. Oh, I have no idea of how much we're going to need. All right, we'll wait and see. We will get things wrapped up for the day. We actually have a little bit more daylight, so if I shut up and get the time stamp stopped, we might. I bet we can get this job. We can get this job done yet today. That would be nice. All right, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Very important. Be nice. Trust me, life is a lot easier when you're nice. That's for sure. And leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I'd appreciate that. As always, feel free to subscribe or join the channel. And of course, you can check out the Discord channel as well, our Discord server. Take care. I will be back tomorrow, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise on American Falls. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.